Welcome back, trainers. So we have the Lunar event making a return yet again. So this time it's going to be spotlighting Spoink as the shiny Pokemon for you to possibly encounter, as well as a few other perks which we're going to go over here at the bottom. Now this information is going to be within your game, so you can just go to news and then hit this information and find out all this stuff for yourself. So what do we have going on here? Event date, February 4th. Starting at 1 p.m. PST. So the event has begun. Now this is going to be going on until February 13th at 1 p.m. PST. So make sure you get out there and try to find yourself a shiny Spoink. Unlike myself, who didn't grind as hard as I should have when the shiny Psyduck was around. Featured Pokemon: Rattata, Ekans, Mankey, Ponyta, Electabuzz, Dratini, Mareep, Miltank, Trapinch, Poochyena, Spoink, Baneri will appear more frequently in the wild. If you're lucky, you may even encounter a shiny Spoink. So there you go, have the shiny odds increased, I would imagine, just a little bit for you, as well as the Spoinks increased as well, because looking at my nearby, I seen about 4 of them. So I'm going to go out there and see if I can catch myself a shiny. The bonuses are going to be 2 times XP catch, and then you have 2 times XP evolving, so you're going to get double the XP for catching and evolving, basically. And when you trade Pokemon, there is an increased chance it will become lucky. So there you go. I don't know what was going on with this, and I'm going to be putting in some clips because I had some really crazy trades recently with 2017 Pokemon and having them around summertime, 2017, about August and July. It almost every time becomes lucky. So we did do a few experiments, and a couple times they didn't turn out to be lucky, but for the most part they were. Now for the increased spawns of the Pokemon that were mentioned, which ones can you find a shiny of, and which ones do you want to shiny check? That's going to be Ponyta, Dratini, Mareep, and got a few of those, another Dratini, another Mareep, and Poochyena. Okay, so make sure you're checking all those because you can in fact find a shiny variant of these. Now, are the shiny chances increased for them? I don't think so. I wouldn't think they are, but for the Spoink, possibly just a little bit. Definitely the spawn increases are up for the Spoink, obviously being the spotlight of this event. And the Year of the Pig. We did go over a while ago that we will probably be seeing the shiny Spoink that I mentioned, and here we are. So they did say the lucky chances are going to be increased 2 times, so the chances are going to be a lot higher. I have a little recommendation for you, and that is going to be to trade your 2017 Pokemon for an increased chance, because all these trades you're about to see are before this event has even started. And I was using 2017 Pokemon because I did a trade with Elegantly, and it was a 2017 Pokemon. It became lucky, and just one trade is not enough to go off of, but I met up with a friend the next day, and I traded this Alolan Grimer. I gave up my Houndoom, which was from 2017, and you got to make sure it's from around summertime, because that seems like what is triggering these luckies to occur. So if you do use a 2017 from around summertime, you have a high probability of getting a lucky Pokemon. So make sure you check the trajectory of which the CP is going to be if it has an evolution and you're trying to get it into a specific league before trading, so you will be prepared and ready to go. Although, like we've discussed before, if you're going to get a lucky Pokemon, you might as well almost just power it up, because you want those lower IVs for the leagues, and if you're going to go for a lucky, you might as well completely max it out to reach that peak potential with those decent IVs. So watch this trade here. This is quite amazing. That Azumarill is from 2017 summertime, and that Palkia obviously from recently. So let's see just what happens here. And it's quite amazing, folks. Unfortunately, that Azumarill was at very low CP, and it was going to cost me about 100,000 Stardust to actually power it up for the Great League. So rest in peace for that. But hey, she did get her lucky Palkia, so 1 down, and that's pretty nice. So good old Grumpig over here. Let's see what we have going on for this pure Psychic type, which you can now have in a shiny variant. So this is going to max out at 2,369, attack 171, defense 188, and stamina 190. So I mean, it's for the lower tier, and it can do a decent job, I suppose, in PvP. I've used it a few times, and it worked alright. Nothing too great, nothing too bad. Weak against Bug, Dark, Ghost, resisting, fighting, and Psychic types, okay? Now let's go ahead and see what we have for its moves, see if this is going to be something you're interested in powering up. For the fast moves, we have Charge Beam and Extra Sensory, and for the charge moves, we have Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Mirror Coat. So Mirror Coat is going to not cost too much energy, as well as Shadow Ball. Psychic is not horrible as well. You're going to be getting stabbed from both Mirror Coat and Psychic. So, having Shadow Ball, you're going to have a bit of coverage if you go up against another Psychic type. Say you're not doing super effective damage, as a matter of fact, resisted, you'll be able to hit him with that nice Shadow Ball there. As far as Charge Beam and Extra Sensory, I personally am running Extra Sensory on mine and have the Psychic and Shadow Ball. So let's go ahead and take a look at mine to see what it looks like. Alright, so we have on my Grumpig, like I said, Extra Sensory, Psychic, and Shadow Ball. So I've used it a few times, like I said, it works okay. Happy with this one, powered it up a couple weeks back, and I've only used it a few times. But hey, at least I have it for whatever leagues we have in the future that are going to call for Psychic type Pokemon, and I will have that Shadow Ball to get that super effective damage going up against other Psychic type Pokemon. So it is a decently tanky Pokemon. It can take hits, and it's just a funny looking thing here, right? Finally getting a little shine and a little love. So hopefully you can get yourself that shiny. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at my lucky Pokemon, because I have quite a few here, as you can see, looking great. So we have them by recent. This is the latest one here, being Scizor. Quite happy with this one, and I will be powering this up one day. Seeing Scizor is a fantastic Pokemon, especially for those bug moves, Furry Cutter and X-Scissor. Definitely not going to buy a secondary move for this, seeing that I just want to use it to go up against raids. I already have my PvP Scizors ready to go with their secondary moves purchased. 75,000 Stardust is quite steep, and I just spent another 100,000 Stardust this morning on more Twilight Pokemon. More on that soon, so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed, have notifications on so you don't miss anything. And we have the Azumarill here, and a little sad about this because it's going to cost me about 100,000 Stardust to actually max it out. And that is kind of unfortunate, because I'm definitely not going to be spending that much, even though it's lucky. And yeah, simple as that. Then we have the Alolan Grimer here, which I probably will not be using whatsoever. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I do have a shiny Grimer, as you've seen in my last video, that I used to go up against another trainer to do some Twilight test battles with a quick ground move and a charge ground move, which works fantastic, seeing you have those poison types that are only going to be weak to ground types in the tournament. Poison and Dark mix, as a matter of fact, which, yes, they're only going to be weak to ground types, and that is going to be a great combination moveset for that regular Grimer if you do have one. It's going to cost quite a bit to power it up, but it is kind of worth it. I wouldn't recommend you go and do that. Possibly try to find a high CP Grimer and just use it to see the performance. I did purchase the secondary move, which costed 50,000 Stardust. Anyways, let's move along here, keep it flowing, otherwise this is going to get kind of long. Then we have the Mudkip, which I'm quite excited for as well, because of the community day that we will receive for it in the distant future, which probably will have Muddy Water on Swampert. I know a lot of you did want to have Hydro Cannon, but more than likely, yeah, it's going to get Muddy Water. Still a great move on that Swampert as well. It currently does have Surf, which is performing magnificently, charges fairly quick with that ground quick move that it has, so that is another Pokemon you may want to look out for. Unfortunately for this Venonat here, if I do evolve it into Venomoth, it is going to be above the Great League, which is going to be another MVP for the Twilight. So I'm just going to have to go out there and find another one. Your best bet is going to find Pokemon that when you evolve, you're not going to have to spend much Stardust. It doesn't matter if they're literally a 000 IV. As a matter of fact, for PvP, that's going to be your best shot to go for. Unless that Pokemon maxes out with its CP at level 40 under the Great League or around that area, then you're going to want better IVs. But as far as a Pokemon that can surpass the Great League as far as CP goes, then you definitely want to have the lowest IVs possible to have the best potential, because the higher level it is, the better output you're going to be doing. Now, I do have this lucky Rayquaza here that I did trade a 2017 shiny Absol for, and it became lucky, and that was quite amazing, because we were waiting for that trade for some time, and it was just that much better for it to become lucky, obviously. And then the Groudon that I traded elegantly, another Groudon, which mine was going to be from 2017, and what do you know, bingo, they became lucky. So now is the time, trainers, to go out there and get those lucky Pokemon, because yeah, if we're going to be getting a double increased chance of them to become lucky, this is going to save you a whole lot of Stardust. And trading Pokemon that you probably don't even really want to have lucky, just for the future. You never know when you might need them. And then moving on here, I did stock up on quite a few of these Gen 4 Pokemon starters because I do want them. They're going to be probably better than most of these other Community Day starters for sure, including Sceptile, because this thing is going to be an absolute monster once it does get its Community Day move, including that nice shiny. It looks so fantastic, a blue color. And then we have the Feraligatr, which, yep, you know, lucky Feraligatr that I got, and then I have a lucky shiny as well. That is always nice when you have those, for sure. And then we have my Toxicroak here for the Great League, completely maxed out. Now, this is a Pokemon that you probably should be trading for sure to get lucky. Those Croagunks that evolve into Toxicroak here are fantastic. See, and the reason why this is so good, it maxes out completely, and it still fits within the Ultra League. So keep that in mind. This is a Pokemon that you do want to have the best IVs in. You know how I was discussing, you want lower IVs so you can have the better CP potential to be completely maxed out. But for this one here, it's completely maxed out, and it's still under into the Ultra League. So therefore, it's going to be within your best interest to have the best IVs because you don't need to stay under that CP limit. Then we have another Treecko, Piplup, as I said, preparing myself with those newer starter Pokemon because they're going to be really good when they do receive that Community Day move. And then we have, look at this, this is just crazy, 100% IV lucky Rhyperior, HP, attack, defense, wow, so we're looking great on that. Snovert, I'm not too worried about that. I'm pretty sure I have a level 100, this is not 100% IV, simply amazing, HP, attack, defense. Oh wow, that was a real troll. For a minute I thought it was. I was like, really? I didn't know I had a lucky 100 Snovert. And then we have a Badou, which I just might evolve because of that Roserade moveset having Grass Knot. That is going to be your best grass type Pokemon in the game now. So yeah, definitely something you want to look out for. Then we have my Lickilick that I just evolved right when we were able to get these new Gen 4 Sinnoh Stone evolutions, and I'm happy about that. It will fit the Great League, but I have a feeling I don't know, I don't think it's going to get a Community Day, probably just a special move in the future, because as it is now, the charge moves are just 1 bar, and that's not going to be great for PvP whatsoever. Going up against raids, not even that either, possibly to drop in a gym, because it does have a bit of bulk to it. Being at 1375, it does have 153 HP, so that's not bad whatsoever. Then we have this lucky Snorlax here, which I should power up for the Ultra League, and that should be very fitting. It does have Heavy Slam, unfortunately it doesn't have Body Slam, which is the move that you really want. But that's okay, because going up against, say, rock types, normal moves are not going to be super effective. Having Heavy Slam, on the other hand, is going to help you get super effective damage onto those rock types. So that's another cool one there. I do have the Mawile, and Nincada. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do this. Should I evolve it right now, folks? Oh, well, we'll save it. Who knows? Because that evolution is quite nice, and that is a hidden gem that we'll talk about in the future. Then we have this lucky Pinsir here, and then we have my lucky Gengar here. Just great. Did purchase a secondary move, Lick, Psychic, and Sludge Bomb, looking fantastic. Is that complete? Yeah, completely maxed out. And then my Giratina, which I did switch to Dragon Breath. I did have Shadow Claw. Maybe I should go back with that because Shadow Claw has received a very nice buff. And then we have the Drifbloom here. Don't you just love that background? The ghost background with the lucky looks great because you have that kind of like mist going back there. It looks fantastic. So don't have any plans to power that up. And then you have the almighty, the great Badou. All right, that's a lucky right there. Quite nice. Beldum, not too sure what I'm going to do with this. Probably just going to sit on it. So there is the Meteor Mash itself there for you. Need to heal that up. I did drop it in a gym last night. Then we have another Meteor Mash and another one. Look at that. Wasn't that amazing? Received so many of those. It was a quite amazing day. And then we have Torterra Lucky here that I almost maxed out. Just didn't want to spend that last bit of Stardust because I didn't have the candies, but now I'm sitting on plenty of them. And then we have my lovely Staraptor. Whew, I enjoy this thing so much. Purchased a secondary move for both of them. There's just something about it that I have a connection with that just makes me like it a whole lot. Is it the best for PvP? Not quite. It does have those single charge moves, unfortunately holding it back. Brave Bird. You have Honchkrow with the Sky Attack, which is going to be a whole lot better. But maybe in the future this thing can receive some sort of special move. Fingers crossed because I really like it. Yet again, some more Gen 4 starters that I'm saving for, as well as a Slackoth, predicting and waiting for that possible community day for it. Who knows, receiving maybe hidden power for slacking. That would just make it absolutely monstrous, having an actual quick move that does damage, because as it is now, nobody uses it in PvP, although slacking's attack is quite high. If you do get off that play rough to the opponent, it's going to be doing a lot of damage. Then we have, of course, a lucky Pachirisu, Alaska's regional, as well as Canada. Got that over here, looking great. And then we have the Luxray, which I did power up for the Great League. As you can see, did spend quite a bit of Stardust on this. I just didn't purchase a secondary move because 75,000 is a little steep. It can now have hidden power, which is fairly nice, although I might as well just stick to Spark. But I will be TMing the quick move one day just to see what its hidden power is, because it might actually benefit me. Because if it did have something like, I don't know, water, that would be absolutely fantastic, because I will be able to hit those super effective ground types that are going to be going up against it with super effective damage myself. And then waiting for something on that. I don't, this is a female, so don't really need to evolve it currently. I don't need a bunch of Gardevoirs right now. I kind of just want to save the candy for that possible future community day for this in Glade. Yet again, another Gen 4 starter. And then my Infernape here that I maxed out a long time ago, which I showcased for everybody. Really enjoy that thing. And is this one pretty good? Yes. It's one of the ones that actually has a double charge move, Flamethrower. Used it in the Boulder Cup, and it actually helped me quite a bit. If you haven't seen that video, it was absolutely fantastic. Then we have the Empoleon. Currently, you know, this is a good Pokemon, right? Its typing is pretty nice. You have water and steel. It's going to have, you know, a few weaknesses there. But the only thing holding it back right now is those moves, man. It's just taking too long to finally power them up. And once you do, what are they going to do? Simply shield. So once it does receive its community, Empoleon is going to be one of those Pokemon you're definitely going to want to go to. And then we have Mewtwo, lucky, always nice. Dodrio, I really enjoy this one. Sitting at the Great League with 1493. Probably should purchase a secondary move for this one, but we'll wait for the future to see what other cups the Silph Road is going to hold, and maybe I might use it. This one right here as well for the Twilight Cup might serve some sort of purpose, but not something you really want to go with. That Wheezing is fairly tanky, and I don't know. We'll see how that works out. Personally, not going to really go for that or use any Stardust on it right now. And then we have the Lucky Gengar, which I powered up a little bit. Thinking about the Twilight Cup, but there is so many hazards for it. I'm not too sure really if it's going to be within my best interest. And I probably would be switching that Lick Up to Shadow Claw, seeing that the Shadow Claw did receive a buff, and you will be gaining a whole lot more energy for your charge moves now using it. And then we have Clefairy, 50 CP. Okay, alright. That's probably never going to do anything with that. I'll start it up though. Very nice. And then we have the Gyarados here. Okay, yeah, purchase a secondary move, and I'm using this for the Ultra League. Probably should hit the power up a couple more times. And yeah, always nice to have the Gyarados. This is my Skarmory that I used in the Boulder Cup right here. Very nice. And this did come from the Go Fest. So a local trainer who did go traded me this, and it became lucky. Isn't that quite nice? So Go Fest Skarmory right there. And then we have my Yanmega. Oh my gosh. I'm just so satisfied with it. And yes, the performance is great. Did plenty of tests. It's not going to be the best thing out there, but hey, you can do quite a bit of damage. That Aerial Ace, somebody said, oh, with a Yanmega going up against a Scizor, the Yanmega is going to not do much whatsoever. On the contrary, that is actually quite wrong. If you do have Aerial Ace, it's going to be taking off more than half of the Scizor's health if you do, in fact, charge that move up at full charge. Of course, you know when you're tapping away, it's going to do quite a bit of damage, so keep that in mind. But if you did have, say, Ancient Power and Bug Buzz, yes, in that case, you will get probably walled pretty hard, but Aerial Ace is going to be doing quite a bit of damage to that Scizor. Then we have the Lucky Electivire sitting at 2458, and this is always a nice Pokemon. Thunder Shock, Thunder Punch, and Wild Charge. Why would you want that secondary move? Because Thunder Punch does charge a lot quicker. I wouldn't say a lot, just a little bit faster, enabling you to get off that charge move that much quicker onto your opponent to take them out. Vaporeon, all right, cool. Don't really use it. Then we have Ren here. My Dragonite that came from Elegantly. This is going to be a Dragon Breath, Outrage, and Hurricane. So we do have that Legacy Dragon Breath on it. Very nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't have Dragon Claw. That would have just been the cherry on top. But hey, still happy with that Dragon Breath. Then we have Meowth Lucky, looking good, blasting off again. Probably should evolve that, maybe. Mischievous, which potential here to use a Sinnoh Stone in the future. Nothing too immediate to use. Another Lucky Gengar. All right, this one was fantastic. I was super happy. Shadow Claw, completely maxed it out. And then we have another Lucky Gengar. Yet again, another Shadow Claw. This is back when I was hunting those down very intensely. Then we have a Bellsprout. Who did this come from? Oh, Scarlet Witch. Okay. Probably when we were just doing random trades. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything with that because I have another 100. As a matter of fact, I have 200 Victory Bells. Yeah, so looking great already. Then we have the Lucky Golbat. Right above the Great League at 1508. Wow. Then we have Nidoking here. This is, I mean, do you want to use this in the Twilight? Not too much. I mean, it has potential, but at the same time, it's also going to be weak to quite a bit. So it's going to have to sit out. The only thing really holding it back is those charge moves. It's just not looking good whatsoever. Then we have Sudowoodo sitting at 1717. And then another Lucky Mewtwo. Wow, I had 2 of those. Pretty good. Haven't really done much with this one here. So we'll see what I do with that in the future. Does that have Shadow Ball? Yes. Shadow Ball Lucky. Absolutely fantastic. And then I do have this for whenever Magnezone does make an entrance because it was not released alongside those new Sinnoh Stone evolutions. So we'll just have to wait for that. Is it going to receive a Community Day? Nope. See, the good way to know it's not going to receive a Community Day is when the shiny has already been released. And yes, I made a video talking about the next Pokemon that can be Community Day Pokemon, and some of them already had shiny variances, but I think there was just a bit of confusion. What I was trying to reference that to was the possible thing that we've seen with Breloom, lets you evolve it and you would kind of just receive a move. That's what I was kind of going for there. And then we have my Lucky Persian at 1025 CP. So this is a candidate to be powered up for the Ultra League, or sorry, Great League Power Gem currently, and probably should definitely purchase a secondary move. Play Rough is what I would go with, and Scratch works great. So yeah, Persian is really good. I mean, that Scratch is kind of like, in the sense, like Bite. It does so much damage. It's not going to be charging up your moves quite that fast, but it's still going to be doing a lot of damage to your opponent. Vigoroth here, unfortunately, right above the Great League as well. This is another good Pokemon for the Great League, but yet again, I have another Pokemon ready to go for that Community Day, if we ever receive it. And then we have the Lucky Slowpoke. Ambipom, which I'm never going to do with anything with it because look at the CP. I'm never going to spend the Stardust on it. I might as well power up another one with a higher CP potential. Another Yanma Lucky here, because I was asking for these quite a bit back in the day, getting ready for that Yon Mega, and eventually I will be evolving all of these and powering them up too. Hypno here, sitting at the perfect CP level for the Great League, but it does not have any legacies on it. That Psyshock would have been just nice if I did receive it. And then a Slowpoke sitting at the Great League. Have used this before. Confusion did receive a buff, so yeah, the only bad thing about Confusion you need to look out for is the fact that its animation is so long, it will be leaving you vulnerable. Even if your charge move is ready to go, you'll be sitting there trying to tap it, like, why isn't this working? And it's because the Confusion animation is just taking so long. Then we have my Honchkrow here. We're starting to get towards the bottom. Very nice. Need to purchase secondary move. This is completely maxed out. That's why I haven't done so yet. Then we have the Primate. This is a double legacy Lucky, so that is great. You will also be able to find those Mankeys in the wild if you're trying to look for a Primate right now as well. Just maybe get yourself a Lucky and trade those off. Then we have the Alolan Geodude, and this one is a prize of mine here. The Alolan Raichu, completely maxed out. Doesn't that Lucky look fantastic? Just that gold on gold. Very nice. Happy about that. Then you have Spark and Wild Charge and Psychic for the coverage there. Psychic works great because I did have an incident where I went up against a ground type Pokemon, wasn't doing super effective damage, and I was able to get off that Psychic and it helped me take the win. That was great. Then we have the Porygon 2 sitting right under the Great League. Not too sure what I'm going to do with that because Porygon Z is not too great at the moment. Like we discussed before, I do have a feeling Porygon Z is going to be getting a Community Day move. We'll just have to see when that happens though. Nidoqueen. And then my Glade for the Ultra League. Looking fantastic. Really happy about that one there. And then we have the Steelix. Already have a couple of these for the different leagues, so not too sure what I'm going to do with this one in the future. Magmar. And look at the CP on this one, folks. Exactly 1500. Now, this is definitely something you want to try out for the Twilight for sure. Being part Ghost type, it is going to be eligible. And then I do have Hex, Bone Club, and Shadow Ball running on mine. So this one is just amazing. I can't believe it landed perfectly on 1500 CP. That is just excellent. Lucky Ditto. Another Metagross here. Meteor Mash. Who did that come from? Okay. Wow, that... oh, it was a Beldum, and then I evolved it on the community day. It's like I didn't trade him... Because let's see when the trade was. Alright, yeah, there you go. Got a whole lot of those lucky Metagross with Meteor Mash. And then we have Venusaur here. This is going to be a Frenzy Plant. Looking great. I just rather go with my shinies because they just look so much better to me personally. And then another Scizor that I use quite often for the Ultra League. Fairy Cutter, X-Scissor, and Night Slash. And I change up the X-Scissor or Night Slash once in a while to Iron Head, depending on how I feel or what the opponent might be using. And then we have the Lucky Blissey here, which can, or is completely maxed out. Okay, I won't be purchasing a secondary move for that anytime soon. Completely maxed out Rhyperior, looking great. Lucky Blossom, all right. Skitty, and I think this is my last one here. Now let's look at the IVs. This is going to be a Legacy Lucky, and if you're thinking, what do you mean? What is a Legacy Lucky? Well, that's something that has horrible IVs. If you traded Pokemon when Lucky was starting to be a thing, right within the first hour, you are going to receive possibly bad IVs, and that's what this one is. It is decent. HP feature, okay, nothing is maxed out, and it's all low. So that's pretty crazy there. As well as a Nidoking as well, did receive a bad one. So there you have all my lucky Pokemon trainers. Hopefully you can get out there and find yourself those shiny Pokemon. I already have a Mankey sitting next to me. Let's see what we have on my nearby. We have a Spoink. We can go out there and see if that is shiny, as well as a Growlithe. So yeah, this is going to be a good day, trainers. Thank you for watching, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.